In this chapter, I will be talking about the concept of long-tail websites. One thing that I didn't realize very early on when I started developing websites was that most websites get the majority of their traffic through Google searches. I used to think that a website would get most of its traffic from people that were aware of the brand. For example, if someone had a blog about SEO news, let's make up a name like SEOnews.com. I used to think that a website like this would get most of its traffic by building up a reputation, and then people would know about it, and then people would type it into the address bar, SEOnews.com, and check out what the latest news in SEO are. Now, of course, some of the traffic will come like that, but the majority of the traffic is most likely to come by accident. And what do I mean by that? Let's say that SEOnews.com also has a few subpages. So for example, one of these subpages is a blog post about how to get traffic to your website. Most people that are ever going to visit that page are people that are going to go to Google and, for example, search for how to get traffic to my website. That's of course if you manage to rank high enough for that term. So why am I telling you this perhaps evident fact? As you might have realized by now, the more subpages you have on your website, the more likely it is that someone stumbles upon your website through Google or any other search engine. This concept is crucial in the types of websites that I make. The more subpages you have, the longer your tail is, thus the term long tail. Sometimes it's easier to get 1,000 daily visitors if your website has 1,000 subpages that each have 1 visitor a day, than a website with 10 subpages that each have 100 visitors a day. However, it's not easier to write content for 1,000 pages than for 10 pages, so we have to be smart about it. Let's see what I've done on my website, valuewebsite.co.uk. So, as we can see here, I have information about a bunch of websites. So for example, if I click on one of these websites for more information, you can see that it has its own subpage, which really means that this specific page has its own URL. So I have hundreds of thousands of subpages, and all the content is auto-generated. The sheer fact that my website has so many subpages allows me to rank for keywords in Google that I could not even imagine. Here is a look at my analytics account, and as you can see, just in the last month, I have subpages in Google that rank for this many different keywords. There are so many that I don't even keep track of them. But this shows the beauty of having a long tail website. This long tail drives about 1,000 daily visitors to this specific website. As you maybe understand now, it simply becomes a numbers game. How many subpages do I have, and how will Google rank those? Generally, the more pages I have, the less important the ranking of one single subpage is, because if it falls off in the rankings, there are hundreds of thousands of other subpages that still have a chance of ranking. Now that you know my philosophy of creating websites with many subpages, do not create websites that have garbage content on them, or are just purely duplicated content from other websites. You have to contribute with something, otherwise Google will see that your website has no value, and you will be caught by their spam filter, which in its turn means that you will get no traffic, no matter how many subpages you have. In a later chapter, I'll talk about how you do to make sure that your subpages are of value. In the next chapter, I will teach you how to make websites that have a long tail, and some important things to think about. I'll see you then, guys.